So we all know the prop firm industry is a big one. So many new companies are always coming into the market. Some of them are opportunistic, coming in, trying to make money. Others are actually legit and really good. And here on Blue Edge Financial, we try to give you guys the best information when it comes to prop firms. We do reviews and we cover everything prop firm. We've even started doing a monthly recap. If you haven't seen that, make sure you see the previous video, which was the recap for July. But the point is that we're trying to cover everything when it comes to prop firms. And in today's video, what we're going to be looking at in particular is the one-step phase challenges. So this is something new that companies have introduced because I suppose, you know, we did the whole making prop firms easier. We did the whole making prop firms cheaper, and these companies kept trying to undercut each other. But we saw where that led. That led to, you know, down a road where more people were getting funded, more people were requesting payouts, and in some cases the prop firms were actually going bust because of that. So they've started reeling back a little bit. They're not making it as easy. Some of the price points are still fairly good, but you know, it's kind of halted that ever moving forward, looking for, you know, easier prop firms and stuff like that. If anything, I would say some of the prop firms that are, you know, not as easy or don't appear to be easy are probably the companies you want to go with, because like FTMO, they've never kind of gone easy, and they've never really undercut. They've done a few things, but those are the companies that have kind of stuck to the rules and they've stuck around. So today we're going to see this new kind of challenge that has come in, which is a one-step. Some companies are even offering instant funding, which is going to be a whole nother video. We're going to be doing instant funding as well. But for today, we're looking at the one-step challenges. So how do I actually start at finding the companies? Do that? Well, this website over here is perfect for that. It's propfirmmatch.com. It's a brilliant website. If you're looking for a prop firm to trade with, but you're not sure, you want to just, you know, compare some prop firms to make sure you are making the correct decision, then this is the website for you. Make sure you come in and have a look. So what I did is I had a list of things that I needed to be, you know, checked off for these companies to even make my list. So what I thought is I'll come to propfirmmatch.com and I will get a kind of a short list, and then from there I'm going to pick my top 3. Okay, so how exactly did I get my short list? Well, obviously, like I said, I had certain criteria I was looking at. So I came to PropFirmMatch and I basically started with the very basics. Looking at Forex, we're looking at 100K, and we're looking at one step, right? So that gives me my first list that I can actually use to go on. And that's all I need. So basically I went in from this list. Now if you are very specific about what it is you're looking for, PropFirmMatch actually has this more options over here where you can specifically choose different prop firms, which I'm going to use because I already have my top 5 that I'm looking at. And then you can actually go by things like price, by account size. So you can really fine tune exactly what it is you want if you have very specific criteria. Now, I kept the initial search broad because I wanted to take all of them in. And then I had a quick browse over each of the sites to basically, you know, see what it is they offer. Because I know what I'm looking for based on, you know, we run a huge community that is using prop firms. So we have a good idea of what we're looking for from prop firms, and in particular with the one phase. And it's something we are actually starting to run ourselves with our EA Titan X. We're looking at not only running the 2 phases, which we have done for a long time, but we're also looking at 1 phases. So it is something we've done a lot of research on. So if it is something you want to fine tune yourself, come over to PropFirmMatch yourself and fine tune it based on your criteria. But I'm going to give you my top 5 based on this. So the top 5 that I'm going to be looking at today are as follows: E8, FXify, Funding Traders, FunedFX, and Maven. Okay, so that's my top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is my top 5. Like I said, I already have gone over all the sites. I've looked at everything, and this is my top 5. So now if you go over here, we have those 5 selected, okay? Now some of them get selected more than once, but we are looking at, if we look at the firm itself, we've got E8, we've got Funding Traders, we've got FXify, and we've got Maven, okay? And then we've got FunedFX. So now that I've got my shorter list, the top top 5 I wanted to kind of really look into. Now I'm going to be looking at things like obviously the Trustpilot review, the rating on Trustpilot, because that really holds a lot of weight, because that's based on traders that are actually using it, right? There's that holds a lot of weight when it comes down to actually choosing a prop firm. And I've gone through the Trustpilot reviews. I've looked at a lot of the 5-star ratings. I've looked at a lot of the 1-star. So you get an idea of what people are really happy with, and you get an idea with what people are actually moaning about. The next thing I like to look at is this, how long it's actually been running for. So as you can see, like E8 since November 2021, Funding Traders fairly new, so is Fify, Maven a little bit older, and then FunedFX also in 2022. That's another thing I look at. The next thing I look at is the payout frequency. So for example, E8 is amazing. Every 7 days you can get your payout. So then you have like Fify, first payout on demand, and then 30 days. Then you have Maven every 10 days, and you have FunedFX is anytime with 50% consistency rule, 7 days with 50% consistency rule. So there are certain criteria within that you've got to kind of look at. And then the other thing I do like to look at as well is the technology. So in-house, I look at in-house as a good thing. Some people will look at in-house as, but that means they can manipulate. The truth is, if they want to, they can even manipulate the white label. So most of the people that are using white label, that is, they are basically just using a third party to kind of, buy whatever it is they need, and then that's what they use to have, as their technology. But I do like the idea of the in-house, because the in-house means that they are in control of their technology. In terms of the thing with white label, you get what you get, and you've got to pay monthly. So there is extra fees that go on top of that as well. And this is all the stuff that I take into account. So from a financial point of view, it means that they are spending more money as well. These are not the things that make my decision. These are just the things that I've been using to kind of like get my top 3. Then obviously I like to look at the type of drawdown. For E8, for example, we've got balance based. So if we look at this, I'm going to go into each of these in more detail. You've got your max daily is 2% daily pause. I'm going to be speaking about that as well. Max total is 8%. It's balance based. Drawdown method is static. So you have static, and then for some of the others, you actually have, let's have a look at this, for example, you have trailing as well, right? You have static and you have trailing, and then that's static as well. And then I also like to look at the actual daily and max total drawdown. So, some of them have this specifically for the one phase, this 2% daily pause. Now that sounds low, but if you hit the 2%, you're not losing your account. It just pauses your account. It stops your trading, which I actually quite like, because it does mean that you're not going to overtrade. You can't lose an account by accident. So I actually like that feature, and E8 has that, and so does FunedFX. They both have that feature. So I actually like that feature. Then I look at the profit target. Obviously 8% is more attractive to me. The 10% is a little bit harder to get, but some of the ones that have 10% obviously have some other features that are attractive. So the whole point is just to look at all the features as a whole, and that's kind of what I'm taking it on. I'm looking at the whole company as a whole, and I'm just trying to give the best possible choices for you guys. So based on everything I've looked at, my top 3 are basically going to be as follows. In third place, I selected Fify. So if we go to the programs, we actually go to the one phase. So if we're looking at the 100K Fify, the profit target is a little bit higher. It's 10%. They have a daily loss limit. Daily loss limit calculated based on the previous day's end of day balance. So it's basically the previous day, whatever your balance is at, it's 5% from that point. So I like that. That's essentially is balance based. I like that. 5% for a daily is not too bad. And then their max total is 6%, a little bit lower. The drawdown type is hybrid drawdown. 6% trails your closed trading balance until you reach 6% profit in your account. Once you have achieved 6% in your account, the max trailing locks at your starting balance and you no longer trail. So I like that trailing, the idea of the trailing. I like that. It's once you hit that 6%, you kind of get locked in, which I suppose if you go back down, you know, you can, it's a little bit worrying, but as you go up, it does give you a little bit more room. So if you are fairly consistent, then that is a good thing. If you get there by fluke and then you go back down, it maybe not so much. Minimum trading days 5. You've got to trade 5 minimum days with these guys. Maximum trading days is unlimited, and then performance split is up to 90%. So performance split is 75% to the traders as standard. You can upgrade on the checkout, so you have the option to spend a little bit more, where you can go up to a 90% split. So you choose if you want to do that. It just means that the price will go up slightly, but it's nice to actually have that option. Now leverage, they are 50-1. So it says the standard leverage on one phase assessment is 30-1, but however, traders can increase their leverage on the checkout to 50-1. So the 50-1, you are actually having to pay for a little bit more, but that's one of the reasons I like FXify, is because they give you that option. Yes, it increases the cost. Now the whole thing is they use all of this stuff, the standard, to kind of reduce their cost to make them more attractive. And often we talk about price being low as a red flag, but the fact that these guys have the options to do this, which actually increases the price, I kind of like. You can kind of choose, you can tailor the program you're going in for, right? So if you're willing to spend a little bit more money, you can do so, but you know, you will be getting certain features that you actually like. So the one-time fee, the refundable fee is $499 for the 100K. So it's kind of up there on the $500 mark. But these guys always have pretty good deals going on. So for the most part, you can get these 100K accounts or challenges anywhere from about $399 up to $450. I don't think I've ever actually spent $499, $500 on a challenge with FXify. And I've used FXify myself. So, you know, that's one of the reasons I am choosing them, because I have that kind of background knowledge. I've never had any issues with them. So for that reason, this is my number 3 slot. The second slot I'm going to be looking at is FunedFX. So let's have a look at FunedFX. Here we go. So we have FunedFX, and the cool thing about FunedFX is they have 2 kind of options for the one step. So they have this one, which is your normal basic, and then they have a 1-step max. So if we're looking at the 100K, let's look at the 100K. The 1-step normal is $500, and this basically, your target is 10%, your max daily loss is 4%, and your max overall loss is 6%. Now this is also trailing, so very similar to FXify. It'll trail to a certain point. It trails with you, so you've got to make sure that you are aware of that. And then minimum profitable days. So then they also, they do also have the minimum profitable days, which means that positive profit at least 0.5% of the initial balance. Trading period is unlimited, and the leverage is 30-1. So the leverage is a little bit lower. So let's have a look at the 1-step max. So the cool thing about the max is it's a little bit cheaper to start off with. You have a lower profit target. Now you can only get a target. Your maximum daily gain is 2%, right? Now, some people look at this as a bad thing. I look at this as a good thing. This is why this is actually an option here. This is why I'm choosing this as a second, because it kind of forces your risk to reward ratio, right? So your max daily gain is 2%, and your max daily loss is also 2%. But your max total loss is 8%, which is probably one of the highest I've seen on a single step challenge. So essentially your risk to reward can be 1-to-1, right? And that's a good thing. So you could actually reduce your risk. So you could risk maybe 0.5% to or 1% if you have a 1-to-2. So based on your trading strategy, if you generally look for a 1-to-2, that means you only ever need to risk 1%, which means, you know, that's the max you will lose in a day. Take 1 trade a day, 1% to make 2%. So I think if you know what you're doing and you have a good strategy, I think this is a brilliant option for you, because, you know, you don't have to push it. You're only looking for 8%. So that means essentially 4 winning days could get you there at 2%. So I really like this one. I think the price is attractive. You are allowed to trade news. The leverage is a little bit low, but it doesn't matter because you're risking less. So this kind of forces you to be, you know, a little bit less aggressive, which I think is a good thing. And I think this is a very attractive option if you are a good trader. You know, you get a lot of traders that just want to push it and just, you know, then this is not for you. I generally think then you are, you know, you should probably going for a 2-stage, but I think this is very attractive. The price is good. I really like the whole structure of how FunedFX has done this one step. So for me, I would highly recommend the 1-step max, just based on everything, specifically for me, like how I trade, how I would trade manually, and even how our EA trades. This works really well for the EA because you just got to set your criteria, and everything, you know, it trades perfectly. So it works really well. The risk reward is very attractive. So I really like that. So that is my number 2 slot, guys. And then my number 1 slot is going to be E8. E8 is my number 1 slot. And it's actually one of the most suggested in terms of the one phase for our whole community. This is where we kind of like to send our community to go and trade if they're looking to trade the 1-step challenge. So here we go, guys. You can see here. So 1 step. So you've got this E8 Pro and E8 1. Okay. So the price for the E8 Pro is a lot less. It's $398 versus the E8 1, which is $586. So let's have a look at the difference in terms of what that means. So if we look at the E8 Pro, you've got a daily pause allowance, which means basically if you breach the daily pause, your account will be stopped until the end of the day. So this is a cool feature. And again, it's one that, like, you know, it kind of forces, because sometimes when you've got the 3% or the 4%, it is quite easy to potentially breach that, you know, especially if you're using an EA, because sometimes you can't control this. But this kind of stops you from potentially losing your account if something crazy goes on, because what happens is if you breach daily pause level, your account will be stopped until the end of the day and you can continue after. Failing the daily stop level does not breach your account, and that's why I really like that. Now, that's the difference between the E8 Pro and the E8 1. So the E8 1, you have a daily drawdown of 5.3% and the daily of 8%. So it's also attractive. You can also go for this one, but I actually prefer the one where you essentially cannot breach your account based on the daily. I really like that, and I think that's really attractive, and I think the price is really attractive. Okay, so the other thing is the profit target is 8%, and then your total balance drawdown is 8% again. So it's you know, when I look at these, I like to look at your risk to reward ratio, and this is way more attractive to me, and we have had a lot of success. A lot of our traders trading on with our EA are passing this fairly easily. So it's something that we highly recommend, because not only is it easy to do if you are a manual trader, as long as you've got a good strategy in place, this is a very, very good challenge to go for, because you know, you're not forcing it, you're not pushing anything. It's straightforward. You've just got to keep playing your strategy and you will get there, you know. And the other cool thing is, you know, that buffer in place that you're not going to lose, because I've had a lot of times where, you know, not by my own, something has happened, the market's gone crazy, there's been something that's happened, maybe there's been, you know, some kind of slippage or spread or whatever, and I end up losing because of the daily drawdown limit. But this, you're not going to have that. So I really like that. I think it's very attractive. So another thing I want to show you guys, these guys have a very good Trustpilot rating. If not, I think the best. Yeah, so these guys are actually the top in terms of their Trustpilot ratings. They also have, you can get your payouts every 7 days. So once you do get funded, you're still trading, you know, fairly passively, but that doesn't matter, because even if you get 1,000, you ask for your payout, you start again. So you can push the 4, 5, 6 over like 3 or 4 payouts, and it's more attractive than, you know, pushing for the 2 weeks. Sometimes that forces you into trading more than you want to. So the 7 days I think is very attractive in terms of your payouts. So the profit split is 80%. And then, like I said, the first payout is after 7 days, and then subsequent payouts is after 7 days as well. So I think that other option where they were talking about a 90% is probably for the other option. So you can go that if you want. So one thing to bear in mind is once you have got your funded account, you can't trade news, and then weekend holdings fine, expert advisor is fine. So yeah, and you can trade copy once you have got the funded account as well. So it's very attractive for me, and it's also based on just what our community is doing. So our community is trading a lot of prop firms, and we're getting a lot of good feedback coming back about specifically about E8 and about this single phase. So for us, our number one slot goes to E8. So we go E8, we go my FunedFX, and then we go Fify. And the other ones that I did want to mention is Funding Traders and Maven also have very good options for single phase. But if you don't like those options, if you don't agree with me, come over to Prop Firm Match, put in your criteria, and then you will get the exact match to what you are looking for. This video is just, you know, just our opinion. But again, like I said, if you want to just check it for yourself, come down to propfirmmatch.com and you can definitely, you know, have a look at that. So that's it from me, guys. That's my top three, well, my top five, but gone down to my actual top three, the top three that I would suggest, the top three that we are suggesting to our community. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was useful. I hope it was informational, and I hope it has helped you maybe choose the prop firm you were going to go with if you are looking at doing a one phase. And then one final thing before I do leave, I wanted to check how many of our viewers have eagle eyes. Did you notice anything different? Did you notice anything in this video that changed? Did you spot the difference? Something changed throughout the video. Did you spot it? If you did, pop that down in the comments and I will shout you out in the next video. I'm going to shout out everyone that gets it right. So make sure you pop down in the comment what you noticed changing in that video. A little bit of fun. So that's it from me, guys. Talking about prop firms, I cannot leave without telling you guys, this is what we do. We get our community funded with an incredible EA called Titan X and our prop farming blueprint. We essentially use the power of AI, the power of an EA, and the power of our community to work together and basically just create this incredible product which is getting people funded. We have now got over 850 of our community funding. It's probably higher than that. Every time I do a video, I have a number from the previous video and it's always higher than that, but it's definitely over 850. I would say it's probably nearing 860 or even 870 now. But the point is it gets people funded. So if this is something you are interested in, if you are fed up of trying and failing and trying and failing, and you just want to get to a funded account and get some money in your bank, then make sure you go to propfarming.com, have a look at the demo. Adam does an incredible video there where he explains everything, and then you can fill in the form and you can potentially jump on board with us. So make sure you go to www.propfarming.com. With that being said, that's all from me, guys. That is my top 3 single phase challenges that I would suggest. And yeah, if you haven't already, please like the video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, because then you will see all the other videos that we have got planned, and there's some really cool ones coming up. So I hope you guys have a good day, week, night, morning, wherever you are. I hope it's good, and happy trading. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.